Hey Kelly, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I finished a UFO.
I know, I am so freaking excited. You finished a UFO, and I am so excited.
Yes, I have been sleeping with it every single night since.
Cool.
Yes.
And you got it bound, and I love the binding on it. She put this plaid on the binding, and it's my absolutely favorite plaid.
I was going to say, best choice I ever made.
Yeah. This is a, me and my sister's
Jelly roll.
Jelly roll.
Yes. So
and we still have some available.
We sure do.
How about that?
So you can make your own quilt, and we also have some yardage as well. I did just use a white for like my sashing in between.
So like a Bella solid white.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
So easy peasy. And then I cut so your strips are going to come in the 44-inch wide. And then I cut those in half just so I could have a variation of like different collections next to each other.
Right.
So you can see like this is not the same.
Right.
Tier.
So you did yours more scrappy up front by cutting them in half so that you didn't have to worry about that when you were putting it together of trying to make it more scrappy and not having two blocks that are exactly the same next to each other.
Yes.
That makes it so much easier. Great job. Great tip.
Yes. And then to adjust the problem that I had, so we need to use a scant 1/4 inch for these blocks. I pressed and I made sure it was really nice and flat, and it was not a problem. So I just didn't press it flat enough, and that was what my problem was, and why this wasn't coming out to the 10 inches that I needed, or 2.5. So I went ahead and pressed everything really nicely with my iron. It makes such a difference, you guys. So really trust your iron and use that, and you'll be very happy with the outcome.
Right. Don't press them out of shape, but just press hard so that you make the seams as flat as possible.
Yes.
Because I know we had another situation at retreat recently where someone was like, these blocks are all different sizes and they're way too small. And I said, but that's because you haven't pressed them.
Yes.
And so she went over and pressed them, and she goes, oh, Margo, you were so right. That you have to press, and you have to press it. I use steam, but you got to just make sure you don't get it out of...
And I didn't use steam before, but then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to add water to my iron. I didn't want to do that for some reason before. It was just something I didn't want to do. And I added water into my iron, used the steam, and no problems.
Well, if you don't use distilled or clear water, you try and use something out of your tap water, it gets like this moldy, yucky stuff inside, and then one time when you turn it on, it'll get black all over your quilt. I only know that because it's happened to me, and then you got to try and get it off.
Yeah, let's let her have the problem and not us. I use water bottles. I have no problem.
That's right. That's what I use now too. I use my water bottle to put my water into my iron so that it's pure, good, clean water with not a lot of additives and something out of the sink.
Yeah, but other than that, this quilt was really easy to throw together.
It's a free pattern.
Free pattern. That's important.
Yeah.
It's a free pattern on our website. All I did was a jelly roll, the white, and then I added my my binding. You can do whatever color binding you wanted. I just thought this was funky and really fun, so that's the one I went with.
I love this as the border, and it changes colors then all the way around, so it gives you a really nice.
It just pulls everything.
Everything together.
Yeah.
Great job.
But yeah, scant 1/4 inch. Really, all you do is you have these like pieces, and you add a little white on each side, and then you go and turn your blocks, and that's all it is. It was such a piece of cake. It was really great. Like I said, I slept with it every single night. My husband's trying to steal it from me, even though it's very pink and bright and colorful. He absolutely loves it too. So
it's a happy quilt.
Yeah.
So this again is called Fiesta. It's by me and my sister's designs, and it's really a fun quilt to put together. I love this.
And if you look up Project Jelly Roll, you will see this pattern with several others. So jelly rolls are you can do so many things. So yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, it was really. I was nervous when I first got started because I didn't press out my seams.
And so that's why when we looked at this as a problem, when we first talked about it as being an unfinished project, the blocks were too small. She hadn't cut her background yet, so I said, well, you can adjust your background to make it fit the block if you can just get all your blocks roughly the same size. So that's when she went back and pressed them really, really good and found out they were the right size.
Yes, and another option I could have done was seam rip everything out, but who wants to do that?
No. That's not an option.
No. But yeah, no, it ended up coming together so easily. If you are working on a first time project or are still a beginner, this is a great quilt to work with. And we have so many jelly rolls to choose from. You can go with any sort of colorway. And if you didn't like the white background, you could absolutely change that out for something else, darker if you wanted to. I know I stick to white as my background a lot. It makes me a little bit more nervous because I have a dog with black hair. So I'm scared it's going to pop out. But really, like I said, I've been sleeping with it every night. I love this quilt. It's been awesome.
Yeah. So this just goes to show you that sometimes when you think you have a problem with a quilt and so you put it away.
I did.
Because you can't figure out, oh, what am I going to do with the next step? Sometimes you just need to bring it out and have someone else look at it with you and decide, well, what could we do differently or how could we do it? Yeah. And rip it. She told me she wanted to rip it out, and I said that's not an option in my book because I don't even like to use the seam ripper. So I will figure out a new pattern or do something to do it with. So that's why. And look, now you got a beautiful quilt that you sleep under.
I know, and I quilted it myself.
Oh, great job!
So that's exciting too. So I finished it from start to finish. I was really overwhelmed, but you guys can do it. I know you can. I did it, and I feel so happy that I got this done. Don't let a pattern intimidate you. You've got this. Just take it step by step, and you can conquer it.
Yep. Okay, guys. Happy sewing.